Ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, non-binary pals, and a technical rainbow in between, this is Modular Media Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Chris, a writer Gaston, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner in this endeavor,
The angry dad of all toku tubers, the Vacuuminator.
but we're not talking about tokusatsu. No, we're talking about live-action, sweaty homoeroticism.
Which honestly is incredibly similar and just as good.
Yep. Uh, but we are talking AEW professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But we
Full
gotta
gear week,
start
we
out.
made it through.
Yeah, one more wait. But we gotta talk about a negativity in the first stretch. So
Yeah, we got breaking news. We got to get out of the way so it doesn't poison the rest of the show.
let me pop out a because I forgot we were doing that first. So uh, we were just informed not 40 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, around that time,
Yeah, just about.
that WWE has released another handful of people from their roster, including John Morrison, Hit Row, Tegan Knox, Drake Maverick, Shane Thorne, and Jackson Riker.
And this comes just 2 weeks after the last round of releases, which was a massive wall of names at the time, and it had people speculating, okay, so they're just doing a shit ton of releases every quarter now. No, it can come randomly at any time. If you're fucking working at WWE right now, what the hell is your mental health? You've got to be walking on pins and needles thinking you are not safe at any time or
The
place.
only people that I think feel safe are Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and anybody that are personally related to them.
Maybe Charlotte, though, with all her recent acting out, I wouldn't even say that.
Yeah. Like, here's the thing: we don't know the entirety of the situation. Is it acting out as an asshole, or is it trying to regain some control in a system she has little of?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that all last week, so we don't
Yeah.
need to go into it again. Really, the main story here is another 8 people are out of a job. Another 8 people are out of a job right before the holidays, and it's quite frankly disgusting. It's appalling, especially when the reason given is budget cuts, and they've already cut down the budget so much already in the last year. I don't know. I try and try to maintain an impartial perspective in these things and treat everyone involved like they are actual human beings and there's good and bad in everybody, but like it's getting harder and harder to do that with anybody in WWE management these days because it just seems like such a heartless, soulless company that is only out for profit. And anybody I can name within that upper executive structure, I would apply that to. Obviously the McMahons, sad
Laurinaitis,
Laurinaitis,
the
Kevin
Ron Khan.
Dunn, what's his name, Pritchard. All of them, honestly, are people who I have a hard time having positive thoughts about these days, even though I think they have had creative highlights in their career. They are definitely in the middle of a massive low light as people, as creatives, as bosses, because this is not something you do. I understand letting people go after a massive event in your company. I understand letting people go every quarter or so. I understand letting people go right at the start of the year. But to do it just before the big holiday season and to have one of the people on that list be somebody who you released in a previous round of cuts and back when all this started, it was like the first or second round, Drake Maverick was let go, posted that incredibly emotional video that got him in a program on NXT that eventually led to him being rehired. And now he's posted another one of those videos, which I just couldn't even bring myself to watch, honestly.
No.
Um, it's frankly appalling, and I know the theory going has been they're leaning up the business for a potential sale in the not too distant future, but it's no excuse. It's just one of those things where you look at it and quite frankly you're left speechless and with the want and the anger to rage against the machine.
Especially because like none of these are people who were just random people from the performance center.
Hmm.
Because like past few releases, it's been like one or two like, wow, really that person, and the rest are like NXT Performance Center people. It's like, okay, sure, it's bad that they are out of a job, but I understand. There's an understanding there.
Hmm.
You're trying to erase the legacy of Triple H after he just built up a better one.
Hmm.
You know,
But honestly, fucking the first name on the list, Hit Row, they just got called up like a month ago.
they were in the storyline with Sami Zayn.
It's insane to do that.
Yeah.
Insane. John Morrison, big return a couple of years ago.
No, no, no.
And
Yeah, no. 2019.
yeah, yeah, just a couple of years ago. And now you're releasing him because oh, we can't get a nostalgia pop out of him anymore. Doesn't make sense for him to be Vince's tag part or not Vince, Miz's tag partner anymore.
Yeah, I'm looking at all the. I'm looking on Fightful. That's who dropped the story. John Morrison last wrestled on November 18th, main event.
I
Uh,
mean, to play devil's advocate, I do kind of get Jackson Riker because he's been a known secret asshole for a while now, and they've been just holding back hope off of him.
mm-hmm.
And it never has because of good reason, frankly. But
Shane Thorne, who has been Dio Madden's tag partner, and Dio Madden you might know as Brendan Williams,
yeah, good
uh,
boy, we
uh,
like him.
associated with the Super Best Friends. Thank God he has his VTuber stuff going on right now. He has something else going on in his life, you know.
Yeah. Um, and fucking Tegan Knox, one of the best women's professional wrestlers
Yeah.
working today. Um, if she's the one out of this list, more than anyone, I would say, Tony Khan, please snatch her up. She's fantastic.
Oh
She would be
yes.
an excellent addition to the women's division of AEW.
It,
Everyone else, I wish them the best of luck, but I don't particularly have a need for them to be in AEW.
no, I think the a slightly worse thing that like the WWE has no control over it is they're releasing these guys right after Ring of Honor just closed their doors.
Yeah.
So like they're being released in an piss poor time because of holidays, um, with very little notice because a lot of them were in storylines or just recently wrestled,
Hmm. The
and
indies are still in the process of getting back on their feet.
it's still going to take a while for them to get back on their feet unless you're a top tier indie like GCW.
Hmm.
Like GCW will be fine because they're essentially AEW's ECW.
Yeah. Like my local promotion has been running shows all year, and quite frankly, I've thought about going to them a couple times, but that's just one promotion. There used to be free here pre-pandemic.
Really, damn, that's nice.
Yeah. I
I
know
I
one of them still. I know one of the other two still exists, but they just haven't been able to get a show together.
in like the local indie near me only just started going like, hey, no, we're about to start doing a new show. Only just did, and that's like one of the home promotions of Effie,
Mhm.
and you've seen him just blow up on the internet.
Oh yeah, his feud with Cardona was fantastic.
But like that's kind of the thing. Like if the one of the home promotions of that big a talent is still struggling to pull themselves back up, like I think he's their champion right now. I think he's their legitimate big belt winner.
Yeah.
You know what?
Uh,
I'm gonna fucking see.
as much as we love to champion AEW and talk about how good they're doing and how like slightly worrying but cool it is that they're back from the pandemic already in full swing, it is a little bit scary looking at the rest of the professional wrestling world.
Hmm. Oh no, it's not Effie. MB Young.
MB Young, okay. I know of them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They've been champ for 20 days, so yeah, though they're just starting to get up and ready, you know.
Well, I don't have too much else to say about this except for just fuck WWE, quite frankly.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a giant shame that something like that had to happen.
God, okay, I guess I do have something else to say. Remember a couple years ago, just before the pandemic, when we were talking about we're about to enter a new professional wrestling golden age?
Oh, we
Remember that
did.
feeling?
We did.
No, no, we've got one really good company. Great. I love AEW. Honestly, fucking fantastic, but we could have had two.
I
We
mean,
could have had two if if Vince hadn't Vinced for the last 2 years straight.
hmm
And it is, like I said, I try to stay even keel on our broadcasts as much as possible, but it is so goddamn frustrating whenever I cast a glance at WWE these days.
at least there is larger, prominent independents and foreign companies that are just like picking up the ball where WWE left off, like New Japan.
Yeah, yeah, we talk about it all the time. It's fun to bomb in on New Japan and Impact every once in a while for us.
And CMLL, AAA. I mean, CMLL is not working with AEW, just AAA, so that's the one we have the most experience with. But like, Mexico's still going strong, and like the numerous well-known, well-regarded indies all across America. And I am not entirely hopeful for it, but there is a possibility of Ring of Honor coming back and doing something interesting.
I mean, fingers crossed on, but that's about all you can say.
Yeah. And here's the thing, I maybe this is also a way to sell Ring of Honor for Sinclair to sell Ring of Honor. Maybe they don't want Ring of Honor anymore. I mean, they lose their TV deals, but
Yeah, I mean, we've
also,
talked about all that before. I would love to see Tony pick up the library at least.
yeah, or at least license the library. I think that might be a better
We
overall option.
need all in on the fucking AEW streaming service whenever it happens.
See, here's the thing: if there's an AEW streaming service, there's only like four things that I go like, yeah, they could license, and this will be great. So like all of the AEW's library, super great, perfect. License Ring of Honors from the beginning to the last of it. Get all in, get all the stuff, perfect, beautiful. Because that's also a lot of major storylines in AEW started in Ring of Honor and Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. That seems like a pretty good get.
Oh yeah, no brainer, honest.
And license the GCW recordings.
I could see that. I could see that.
Not necessarily saying like we own GCW, but going like, hey, we are acting as an intermediary for GCW to get more eyes on their product.
hmm We're we're a money hands exchanging service for GCW.
We walk up to the business executives and go like, hello, we have a brand new product for you. Do not look behind me. They are covered in blood. Just look at me.
Hmm? No, 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 no. Eyes here. Eyes here.
Eyes
Eyes
here.
here.
Don't worry about
Is
the
it?
barbed wire.
Isn't that guy like one of your former champion? Eyes here. Eyes here.
Is that a pizza cutter? Eyes
Eyes
here.
here.
Um. So I think the first things first, we need to talk about, we can't dive straight into the hype. We need to build up a little bit of momentum. So why don't we start with the show that they use to build up some of that momentum? Tell us about Rampage.
Yes, yes, yes. AEW Rampage 11/12/2021 from the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This was the go home show for Full Gear, and it began with Jungle Boy taking on the infamous Bobby Fish in a little bit of a heat building match. Fish did get quite a few licks in, but he eventually passed out in the snare trap, which led to a post match beatdown from Adam Cole, with Christian Cage and Luchasaurus making the save. That then went into a video package hyping up Danielson versus Miro. We then got the Super Click doing a backstage promo and getting confronted by Hangman Adam Page. After that, Jade Cargill and Smart Mark Sterling took on Santana Garrett in a bit of an enhancement match because Cargill won fairly quickly with her finisher, the Jaded. And in the post-match, Red Velvet came out of the crowd and beat down Cargill and threw Sterling into a cake that was at ringside. I think it was for like Jade's one or 2 year
anniversary in the company.
Yeah, okay. We then had a hype patch for Punk versus Kingston, and that led into Dante Martin versus Arya Davari, two hometown boys, one of which has been with AEW for quite a while, one of which is a recent NXT cast-off who is a bit of an AEW prospect. Great, great, fantastic match that ended in Martin, of course, winning after a springboard press. And in the post-match, because Leo Rush was out for the weekend due to the death of his grandmother, Team Taz made a contract offer to Dante. We then got a video package for Brit Baker versus Conte, and in the main event, Big Money Matt Hardy and the HFO took on freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends in a lumberjack match to finally end their feud. Hardy did end up winning, pinning Cassidy after a ton of interference and a not too great elbow drop, and there was a big old brawl as they went off the air.
First off, because this is the last thing you just said, it wasn't a failed elbow drop. It was a purposeful sound effect to trick the referee. Matt Hardy and Dan Houseman have been tweeting about that on Twitter.
Okay, because I just saw that you could clearly see in the thing that it didn't connect, and I was like, ooh, Matt botched.
No. He was just trying to make a noise, so the referee thought he actually hit a move.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Good upkeep.
Yep.
That being said, I don't really care about that match. I'm glad the feud's finally over. I really just want to talk about Dante and Arya. I thought that match was utterly fantastic, and I love that they gave Dante the big hometown exhibition because he wasn't gonna be on the pay-per-view, but it was in his hometown. I actually have a toy streamer that I listen to quite regularly while I'm at work. Big shout out to Diamond Dave Wheeler, aka Dave Wonder. He is from Minnesota, has lived there for years and years and years, and has said multiple times that he's basically watched Dante grow up in the ring. So he was there at Rampage and at Full Gear, and it seemed like a very awesome experience for hometown Minnesotans.
That's nice. It's a nice thing. This whole like 2 days of professional wrestling in Minnesota just seems to be very, very high emotion all around the board. Very high good emotions, very high negative emotions. Not necessarily negative, just like hard emotions to deal with. We'll get into that as we get to Full Gear.
You go ahead. I lost what I was gonna say.
Yeah, no, that whole match was great. I don't necessarily see a place for Arya yet in AEW. I wouldn't mind him being like a rotating talent, like he comes in every once in a while for a few matches.
I mean, like, honestly, I don't remember if we even talked about him back when he got released outside of saying his name, but Arya's just been one of those guys where it's like, I've always known about him, but I've never been interested in him. That being said, he did very well in this match. Both guys looked fantastic, just quick as whips and about as high flying as you could possibly want. It's really interesting. I've never even heard Minnesota or Minneapolis. Sorry, Minnesota is a state, Minneapolis is a city. I've never heard Minneapolis talked about as a wrestling city, but it seems like it might have a future as
I
one
mean,
after this weekend.
it's a known. It was a wrestling territory. It was like a big, the Midwest territory kind of place.
Hmm.
You know,
All right, that makes sense. Oh.
Jungle Boy and Bobby Fish also had like a banger of a match.
Yeah, it was a solid opener. Both those guys are usually a little slower than I'd like, and that was definitely the case in this match. But the way their styles mesh fairly well, and so it made for a pretty enjoyable match, especially seeing um Jungle Boy team up against quite a different character than anyone he's ever encountered before, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Also, it's kind of like, I wouldn't say like a dark reflection of a possible future, but it is kind of like they wrestle very similar style. It is a high impact technical style, which is the best way I can describe it. It is a lot of grabbing and chain wrestling, but then it's also a good number of strikes.
Yeah. Um, and then I think the other big thing we really have to talk about, because there's no other major story beats on this show outside of Hangman confronting the Bucks in that promo, which was just such a fantastic moment. Like, you know, it's obviously supposed to be in that package that I'm sure we'll talk about when we talk about it on the pay-per-view. That's supposed to be the big he's arrived moment, but honestly that right there, just him stepping in and coming face to face with the other Adam in the group and being like, I'm not going to back down. I'm going to talk to the Bucks and you're going to get the fuck out of my way. That was Hangman arriving to me.
Yeah, that's Hangman arriving. The other one is Hangman cementing, planting his
Mhm.
flag.
Yeah, galvanizing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, When did the whole chaos? No, it was Wednesday. It was on last Dynamite.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember the whole chaos thing. I was trying to remember if it was on this or not.
No, that's I think they hint at it on the pre-show.
They hint
Yeah,
at it on the pre-show, confirm it later on in the evening, and then we talk about it in the Dynamite. We'll talk about later. But it's just more of like I was trying to remember when the best friends became part of chaos.
yeah, got to get that timeline of events straight. Though on the previous Dynamite, that's when they came out with Rocky Romero and talked about Okada inviting Cassidy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the best friends because Chuck was still already a member of chaos.
Hmm.
I love that. Like whenever a Gaijin joins the Japanese stable, when they come back to America, it's just like, no, I'm still part of the stable. Lance Archer's still part of Suzuki Gun,
Hmm. Once Suzuki-gun, always Suzuki-gun.
and Chuck is just like, no, I'm already a member of Chaos. Rocky, what the hell are you talking about? The rest of your friends, then. All right, cool, whatever.
Yeah. Uh, Anything else you wanna talk about with this Rampage real quick?
No, I don't think so. I think it's mostly just kind of like it's just what it is. It was a simple, small setup for what they were doing.
Hmm.
All right. I was just trying to get a little bit of thing ready to goeth, soweth. We can talketh abouteth the fulleth gear. So, full gear. Hold on while I get the card up on my end. In the buy-in, we have Tony Schiavone talk to Dante Martin in the ring. In a brief little segment, the Acclaimed do come out and do some stuff. And in the next buy-in segment, we have the Beast Nyla Rose, the native Beast Nyla Rose with Vicky Guerrero and Jamie Hayter going up against Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa. Shida covers Rose with a jackknife. And then Tony Schiavone talks to the best friends backstage and hints at a certain dog helping out Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
JR comes to the ring, and then we get to the pay-per-view itself. The first match on the card is MJF and Darby Allin, with Sting walking him to the ramp and then going back. MJF pins after a distraction, hit with the diamond ring into a side headlock takeover. Next up, we have the tag team belts up for grabs. FTR with Tully Blanchard on one side, Lucha Bros with Alex Abrahantes on the other. Penta pins Wheeler when he is the illegal man wearing a mask after they tried to do a switcheroo. The Redeemer Miro versus the American Dragon Bryan Danielson in the final of the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament. Miro gets knocked the fuck out after a top rope DDT. It is one of the very few TKOs in professional wrestling. Next up, we have the Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler versus with Michael Nakazawa. Wait, you wrote that weird. The Young Bucks and Adam Cole with Brandon Cutler and Michael Nakazawa in the corner, with Jungle Boy going up against Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Christian Cage in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Jungle Boy pins Matt Jackson after a concerto.
Yeah, I apologize for writing that way. I was just writing it the way people were coming out.
Yeah, no, I understand. It was just more of like association. Andre El Idolo with Jose and Malachi Black versus the Bastard Pack and the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes with the Enforcer Arn Anderson. Pac pins Elo with a Black Arrow. There is a post-match beatdown with FTR. Next up, we have the women's title up for grabs. Ty Conte versus Brit Baker Dmd with Rebel and Jamie in her corner. Baker pins with a rollover. Next, we have Eddie Kingston and CM Punk going at it. Punk wins after a go to sleep. Then we have the Inner Circle versus the Men of the Year, an American Top Team, in a Minnesota street fight. That is a specific kind of street fight. They explain in a match. Jericho pins Lambert after
Jake Hager hit multiple people in the head with a toaster in this match. 8 stars.
Jericho pins Lambert after a frog splash. We will talk about the frog splash. Tony Schiavone then welcomes Jay Lethal, former Ring of Honor and Impact World Champion, into AEW. Hangman Adam Page versus Kenny Omega is our main event for the AEW World Champion. Eventually, Page pins to become our new AEW World Champion after a nod from Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson basically being in his corner when he wanted it. Being in his corner when they weren't originally, after a buckshot lariat. And that, dear friends, is Full Gear.
Very, very good show. Though I want to bury the lead. I want to talk about something that I think a lot of people won't be expecting us to get into first, and that is the opening contest, MJF versus Darby Allin. Honestly, I wasn't expecting too terribly much out of this match, and that's kind of the story with this whole pay-per-view. Was I was just looking at the card going, that'll probably be good. That'll probably be good. That'll probably be good. Ooh, Kenny versus Hangman. Let's fucking go. Mm-hmm. But Darby versus MJF really stole the show. Like, it was one of the most insanely hyped match. Just perfectly paced, quick, young guys going at it, trying as hard as they possibly can to beat each other, and some of the best heel chicanery you will ever see. I usually hesitate to use this phrase because I think it's a bit overused in current parlance, but these guys stole the fucking show. I don't know about you, but personally, and we watched this show together, this match blew me out so fucking hard. I was just in a joy coma for pretty much the entire rest of the show until Kenny versus Hangman.
Yeah,
It was that fucking good. Like,
it was that good. It's is also just a brilliant showcase for basically two of the wrestlers that are like their upcoming crew, their four pillars,
mhm.
that can often be maligned for being pretty very sparkly, not technical. That's the best way to put it. Darby's
Like, you look
Darby's
at
very
you.
stunty and MJF is very promo heavy, and so you tend to forget. No, they're really good in the ring.
Yeah, and man, goddamn, just those two fucking bits in the match when they're just covering each other over and over again, and it's such an aggressive fuck you die. I loved it so much, and the the brilliant foreshadowing from MJF all throughout this match. He's fucking with his tights, and we're going, why the fuck is he fucking with his
Your
tights?
dick ain't that big, kid.
Mm-hmm. And then he wins the match with the Dynamite Diamond, and it's like, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. And the fucking Dynamite Diamond, dude. Remember back when that thing was introduced and every fucking podcast, including us a little bit, were going like, oh, wow, just Cody doing another Territory Day throwback. Isn't that silly? That'll probably not amount to
I
anything.
mean, I think everybody figured, oh, it's gonna be a prop for a couple months, and they do something with it. Maybe they do like the punchy stuff.
Yeah, but like now, honestly, I can't imagine MJF's character without it. I'm sure he'll probably eventually one day retire it as as a finisher, but like right now there's just so much he's done with it that it's like it would be such a different timeline if he hadn't got.
Mm-hmm. It is a really damn good match. Really great chain wrestling, which it just made the crowd hyped. And having it being the opening card, open the opening of the card, just like cements that these guys are very important. Pay attention to them because it's usually the opening and the ending that are opening, the ending, and the match right before the ending are the most important cards, most
Two
important things on the card.
two future world champions just battling it out for essentially bragging rights.
Yeah, and JF got the bragging rights maliciously.
Hmm. Um, but I also want to talk about something that kind of goes through the whole show. If you'll forgive me for immediately diving into another topic. Um, the spirit of Eddie Guerrero was
Mm-hmm.
all throughout this show, and it was really, really heartwarming to see so many matches featuring homages to him and just little callbacks here and there and the crowd chanting along. You know, I woke up Saturday morning and I saw somebody tweet like, "Oh, it's such and such anniversary since his death." And I was like, "Oh, right on. Okay, yeah. Sucks that he's gone. Always has, always will." And I didn't think much of it after that. But then just throughout this whole show, there's all these little moments. You know, Vicky Guerrero comes out to the ring with Nyla Rose. Anytime she opens her mouth, people start cheering Eddie's name. There's several times throughout multiple matches that people do and people start cheering his name. People, um, are cheering in the Eddie Kingston match, Eddie's name.
I
Um,
mean, it's all the more impactful because Minneapolis, Minnesota is where he died.
yeah. And then fucking Jericho, one of Eddie's best friends, wins his team's match with Eddie's finisher.
And in the entire time he was doing the finish, he was just looking up.
Hmm. With tears in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It's utterly beautiful.
It's a lot of it's it's amazing just how well loved he still is. Like we never watched wrestling when Eddie was alive.
No, I've seen a few clips of him in like one full match.
Yeah, we
Guess
know
which
of Eddie,
one?
but like the legacy of love and appreciation has passed on to newer and newer wrestling fans. Eddie's name is sacred.
And the fact that AEW, a company he's never wrestled in and sadly never will, is willing to put so much effort into honoring him on the anniversary of his death, it's just another little mark in their corner as one of the best companies there is or ever will be.
And they honored
And
him in the way that, like, from every story I've heard about Eddie Guerrero, he would have appreciated, because the faces used it to honor him, and the heels used it to get heat.
Mhm.
Because next match on the card, FTR and Lucha Bros. FTR pulled out a Three Amigos, and everybody started, "Fuck you, FTR. Why are you pulling out a Three Amigos?" And then Lucha Bros did a Three Amigos of their own and a frog splash, and everyone was like, "Yay!"
which was awesome just because like there again, it's not something I've actually witnessed, but I've always heard there was a period of time in WWE after Eddie's death where you couldn't be a Latino and not have some kind of storyline connection to Eddie.
Yeah, which sucks, but like,
But it's nice to see two Latinos kind of reclaiming that.
yeah, it, because we're dumb white Americans, we don't know, but like the legacy of Guerrero is huge in Mexico.
Oh yeah.
Like, it is unfounded. Like, it is just super big, super impactful, and the fact that it is just he is such a big name even in America. Just I can't even imagine how like I imagine that Eddie Guerrero is up there with like El Santo with in terms of like Mexican wrestlers. You know,
Mhm. El Santo, Blue Devil. Oh
Eddie Guerrero.
fuck, that's all the luchadors I know.
Yeah, and Eddie Guerrero, like
Yeah.
iconic legacy Mexican wrestlers. Just like Eddie Guerrero is one of them, and he has like Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho, and the Canadian who is an asshole. You know who I'm talking about. Uh, just completely changing the game of professional wrestling. Like, adding contemporary wrestling can be linked back to those three guys.
Yeah. Oh, um, before we get to the main event, any other matches you think we should get to?
Uh, Miro versus Brian was fucking awesome.
Um, it might have just been my joy coma, but honestly, I don't remember much of this match. I don't.
I just remember it was very heavy and intense. It was very striky.
Yeah, I don't doubt it was good. I just,
I
yeah, that was a match.
I think the biggest spot was Miro just keeping egging Brian on to kick him in the chest.
Hmm. I also think it's just really smart, and Tony Khan himself pointed this out, gloaty bastard. Um, Fucking really smart booking, because you're going into it thinking like, okay, we all know Hangman's gonna win, so they're gonna have the heel win this match to have a good first feud with him, and then because we've all been thinking of him as a face, Danielson winning makes you go like, what? Oh,
Yep.
oh no, for
Uh,
just a second.
I don't mind the end of FTR Lucha Bros. People have been going like, it's weird, it's confusing. It
I
is,
think it's a good idea. It was just executed less than optimally.
and I think this is partially because one of them had gotten knocked in the head earlier in the match
Hmm.
and didn't show signs, and it just started to catch up with them. Young Bucks and Adam Cole versus Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Christian Cage was a fun.
Oh, it was great. It was so good. Dude, name another fucking medium where a young man putting his hand on his mentor's shoulder and saying, I'm ready to bash this guy's brains in with a chair is a wholesome moment.
Oh yeah, very much so. Um, Andrade, Malachi, Pac, and Cody was a good match that is saddled with a lot of baggage that people have with Cody that I I'm starting to go as a little unfounded.
It was honest. I've already done my Cody rant last week, but
Yeah.
like it was honestly embarrassing hearing some of those boos. Like I get it, but I also don't get it. And then
Like, I'm just
um
trying to figure out where everybody's coming from because they will immediately go around and cheer Fuego Dos, who is totally not Cody Rhodes, but for the sake of argument, they will totally cheer Fuego Dos.
I mean we can Fuego Dos, the theory that he's Cody is honestly crazy, but you can kind of see the resemblance if you look around the shoulder region, I say.
Yeah, but like people,
Um,
the
and
audience
he
is.
wrestles a very similar style, so I get where your argument is coming from.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But we have seen Cody and Fuego Dos in the same room together, so it's a moot point at this junction.
Yeah, I don't even know why we're talking about that, but
But they
freaking
cheer Fuego Dos, and at the same time, Cody's just getting booed at. Like, what is the thing that Cody's doing wrong?
well, here's the thing. So there's a YouTuber we both like, primarily because he did a very good review of character designs from Scooby Doo.
Mm-hmm.
Bren Daniel is his name. I've proven many times on this channel I'm not afraid to call people out directly. Bren Daniel has been doing AEW reviews recently, and they've been very good. He did a review for Full Gear, and I mostly agreed with his Full Gear review until he got to this match, and he went on a rant that just reminded me of back before I got into wrestling, but was kind of poking around watching people's videos about wrestling to get a feel for it. He did a rant about this match that honestly reminded me of the way people used to talk about Roman Reigns. And I'm not gonna say he's wrong, because I've railed against that sentiment enough already. But hearing it framed that way, um, because a lot of people just say, "Oh, Cody bad," and that's what I was railing against last week. Um, but hearing it put in a way that reminded me of Roman Reigns was like, okay, I can honestly kind of see that, and I get it. I still don't agree with it, but I do get it. I do get how that sentiment could arise from somebody who wrestles a very particular style. I would argue Cody has a more diverse ring acumen than Roman ever has, but in AEW over the last year or so, he has been wrestling that sort of Roman Reigns style of he has a few key moves that he always goes to. And I can see how that sentiment would arise from that, especially when it seems like he wins a lot to the layman, because Cody does not win every match, contrary to popular belief. He often loses the big matches. Cody is honestly right now poised for a Hangman like story of a fall from grace and redemption. And that's kind of why I made that tweet earlier this week where I was like, you know what? I'll be fine with Cody turning heel if we have it start with a feud with Hangman. That's what, if we're going to do that, that's what I want. Just have him go full on asshole, going back on his promise, abusing his powers in EVP. Fuck you, Adam. It should have been me. I wanted that belt way back when, and I didn't get it, and it's been driving me crazy ever since. That's the heel Cody I want to see if we're going to do heel Cody.
And like, there's just a lot of little things that just. I'm just starting to go like, what is the actual malfunction? What is he genuinely doing wrong? Because
I
like,
think I mean, we talked about it last week. I think it's just that he's successful now, and wrestling fans are kind of trained not to like successful people who flaunt it in their wrestling.
I don't know, because like, he doesn't do anything wrong in this match. He doesn't get the pin. He doesn't lose. He doesn't like. Pac gets the pin. The whole 9 yards. He has nothing to do with the finish. It's weird.
um.
Ty looked great in her match.
Oh yeah, Ty and Britt. Ty and Britt. Let's talk about Ty and Britt for a second because this match was highly underrated. I think a lot of people were kind of downplaying it, saying like, "Oh, Ty's not really ready to challenge for the women's championship. The feud hasn't been built all that well." That's a lot of sentiment I had heard going into this match. I think this match was fantastic. Probably the best match Ty has had in her career so far. Her new gear and the face paint was so freaking cool. And like, she just went so hard in this match, perfectly showing that mix of I almost said classic graps and jujitsu that she's been sort of culminating and stirring and mixing together as she's been training over Dustin these last few months.
And here's the thing I gotta say about people going like, "Oh, Ty's, I don't feel Ty's ready for it." You want to know how you make someone ready? You put them in the situation and see how they act.
Mhm.
Did you think Darby was ready for his feud with Cody when he just started? No.
Sometimes you gotta just see if somebody will rise to the occasion, and Ty rose to the occasion here, and I think that has cemented in Tony Khan's mind that she will be a women's champion one day.
Yeah. Let's. Here's the thing. We talk about how audience have been trained over the years to like react to certain wrestlers in certain ways, and I think at this point in time, AEW fans have trained themselves to just shit on the women's division regardless of like looking at what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, oh look, they're trying to build a main event star with Ty Conte. They're trying to make her seem like a legitimate contender. They're trying to make her a bigger deal because they feel like she's ready. They want her to be bigger. They want her to have more screen time, be in more matches. Oh, Ty's not ready. Would rather have all these other people who were just in storylines in her position instead.
Yeah,
And, but they're trying to build Ty. Focus on the story they're telling, not the one that you want them to tell.
but what about Thunder Rosa? Why don't they push Thunder Rosa more?
Because she had the big match.
But what about Abaddon? You gotta push Abaddon. I'm gonna take a sign to Dynamite on Wednesday and say, push Abaddon, please.
I mean, that's fine. That I have no issue with. It's the idea of that they would rather have a shit story that they think they're being told than a good story they are being told.
That's a fucking take.
They would rather focus on they're doing it wrong than trying to look at what they're doing right. Because, like,
Hmm.
they aren't building a women's. They have a women's division now. They aren't building. They aren't trying to gear up toward it. No, there's a women's division now.
Yeah.
And people go like, "Oh, what? Brit's not in a story." Brit's in a storyline. Brit's storyline is she has beaten so many people. It's hard for people to come up to her and beat her.
Bert's storyline is the same storyline Kenny had before they were ready to put Hangman in the main event scene. And my dryer just got done, so I'll be right back.
All right, you go do that. And yeah, no, we don't have anybody in the chat right now, so we'll just kind of keep going on about this women's vision rant. Like there's a good couple storylines going on in it right now. You know, it is not devoid of storylines. It's just they aren't as prevalent. I do want them more on screen. I do definitely think their screen time should be more. They should be getting more than one matches per episode. I think Dynamite should have a minimum. Dynamite should have like 2, 3 women's matches per Dynamite. It's okay to fluctuate. Rampage should definitely always have a women's match, 2 if you can. But like that's a scheduling problem. That's not a storyline problem because there's plenty of storyline going on in the women's division. Jade and Velvet building up a forever feud of just not liking each other, all that kind of stuff. Jamie Hayter coming up in the TBS championship, all the TBS stuff going on, the respect that Ruby Soho and Chris Statlander are feeling as both are basically kind of like rejects from a normal society, you know, punk, alien, that kind of thing. The continued rivalries between Hikaru Shida and Nyla Rose, Thunder Rosa also in that mix. There's a lot of things that can be going on, and I think people would just start recognizing it more if the women got more promo time, got more match time, and And you know what? I'm probably guilty of this too. A lot of this storyline stuff is happening on Dark, in Dark Elevation, and we're not watching it. They are probably doing great, amazing things on those shows, and we're just not seeing it. And should that stuff be on the main show? Yeah, it probably should. But like, they're making it. They are doing it. They are doing something. It isn't. It isn't nothing. And it's. I understand the initial frustration with it. Like I agreed with it to an extent. I wanted the women's division to be better, but it's right now. It's not like it's getting to a good place. It is at a. It's at a solid place, and it can only get better from here. It is solid. It's not bad. It's not. It's not growing. It's solid. You know. It, and plus, there's so many women that they can bring in, could bring in. So many women that they've been building up, been doing stuff with. Bunny's always on TV because of Hardy, Office Family, and all that kind of stuff. Like, there's a lot of interesting things going on with the women's division. There's a lot of things that can go on. I'm excited for it. So,
What is that you're drinking?
it is water, but with like a blue raspberry squeezy thing in it.
All right, I couldn't see the label, so I was trying to figure it out if it was a Powerade or not.
No, no, no.
Ooh, neat. I might have to try that at some point because I do like blue raspberry quite a bit.
It is great value.
But hey, let's talk about Eddie Kingston and CM Punk.
Oh God, brilliant.
This was when I was like starting to stumble out of the joy coma. So like I remember a bit more of this match, like the fact that before the match even fucking started, Eddie just unloads his finisher on Punk.
Oh man, that was great.
Eddie looked like a fucking psycho through this whole thing, which was just perfect for his character.
And CM
I
Punk
love how
looked like a cocky asshole.
and slowly he just gets madder and madder until finally he's got that bloody face. All right, I'm a fucking turn heel if this doesn't end.
Oh man, like.
Also, you were talking about all through the match. Punk was wearing judo shorts, and it looks so good for him.
Muay Thai, Muay Thai.
Well, yeah, he was wearing Muay Thai shorts.
Because remember, the only other person that wears those shorts in AEW is Malachi Black, and he's a Muay Thai guy.
But fucking, yeah, that should be Punk's gear from now on. Fuck going back and forth between the
Briefs,
tights
long
and
boys.
yeah, wear the Muay Thai shorts.
They're good.
Please,
They're good. They're solid.
Please, Mr. Cookie Monster.
Fucking Pepsi Man pulling out the John Cena shit.
Oh my god.
Like
That
you
was
didn't
good.
you didn't notice it at first because he did the shoulder tackles. Like he did one, and I was like, okay, it's a shoulder tackle. And then he did a second, and I was like, I perked up and I was like, oh my god. And you were going like, what? John Cena, and you immediately
I think it
went,
was because I was only like half looking at the screen at the time. I was correcting something on the card.
yeah. And then like I said John Cena, and you were like, what? You looked up and he did the third shoulder tackle, and you went, oh my god. And then he went and did the hold up the hand like he's about to do a five knuckle shuffle. Everybody's booing him. Oh my god. How the fuck is it, like, not just this, we'll talk about it in the next Dynamite. How is AEW capitalizing on WWE history so good?
Because AEW capitalizes on all wrestling history. They don't discriminate.
True. But like, goddamn, this the utter disrespect of that whole thing. It's great, and Punk wins with a go to sleep just to piss Eddie Kingston off more.
Uh, but then you had the match that I think historically on the show I have been dreading.
Yeah.
But honestly was very enjoyable. Inner Circle versus American Top Team and Men of the Year was a lot of fun because it starts off as just a tag match with shit around the ring, and then like about I want to say 5-8 minutes in, just goes to chaos, and it's
It's full Looney
glorious
Tunes.
chaos.
It's Looney Tunes.
Fucking toasters and bunt pans and fucking in a giant Prince symbol at one point just getting tossed around.
Because this
Oh,
is a
what fun.
Minneapolis street fight, so all the items surrounding the rings are related to Minneapolis.
And I love how half the reviewers I watched talk about this pay-per-view were like, what the fuck is a butt cake?
Bunt. Bunt.
Yeah.
There's an
Yeah,
N there.
bunt cakes are fucking delicious.
They're like a pound cake.
Bro, I actually had a piece of a pumpkin bunt cake last night.
Nice. Now, this is like, what the, butt cake? It's funny.
Yeah.
Water skis.
Yeah, the water skis. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
the toaster was invented in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
What a great fun match. Really, really good way to kind of even out the audience in preparation for the main event.
Yeah, it's just a fun, big comedy, and like we talked about earlier, Chris Jericho does do the Eddie Guerrero shoulder spot and a frog splash, all in honor of Eddie, looking up, all that kind of stuff. And the beautiful part about that is, like, he is sitting on the ground looking up to the sky for Eddie after the frog splash, and the first person to come to him is Sammy Guevara, who
Jericho has said on multiple occasions reminds him of a young Eddie Guerrero.
And that's just like, that's anime as fuck.
Yeah.
That is anime as fuck. Jay Lethal, he came in, cut a good promo.
Jay Lethal. I've never been a big Jay Lethal fan. I've always thought he was neat. But having him in AEW feels very apropos. I don't expect him to do anything super amazing, but it's the same thing as having Colt Cabana there. It's just like, it makes sense, and it always kind of has.
Mm-hmm. I do think he's going to do a little bit more than Colt Cabana, because I think Colt Cabana works really well as an ensemble member. Jay Lethal works better as like a upper. Jay
Lethal is a character unto himself. God, I hope they call back to the whole BTE multiple personality disorder storyline he had.
I mean, when he shows up on BTE.
Mm-hmm.
But and they do reference.
Oh God, he could literally call Sammy Eddie Guerrero on BTE.
Ooh, that's. I don't know. That seems a little tasteless.
Maybe, but like, he also called Cody Dream at one point.
Yeah, but that's like, they're actually connected. Their father and son. It's just more of like a semi-spiritual connection between Sammy and Eddie.
Fair enough.
But they do reference Black Machismo with his entrance, because it is a remix of Pomp and Circumstance.
Yeah, which is super cool. Black Machismo is obviously the part of his character I'm more so into, because that's one of only 2 full matches I've seen of him, is when he won the X Division Championship as Black Machismo. And actually, you know what? Both the full matches I've seen of Black Machismo matches, because the other one is the one from All In.
Yeah. You know what? I'm kind of glad that he got to be the flag bearer for Macho Man's legacy,
Yeah.
Because it's nice. It's not like, oh, it's one of fucking Macho's kids who's only half-ass doing it because it's a partially easy paycheck in WWE,
Mm-hmm. And what's his brother's name? Randy?
No, Randy's Larry Poffo.
Larry. No, Lanny.
Lanny Poffo.
Yeah, he's always there with Jay every once in a while, just being like, yeah, this is cool. I still have a legacy contract with WWE, so Mach can get new toys, but like, Jay's cool. We like Jay.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. It's just more of like the living legacy of Macho Man.
Oh man, what if WWE loses the rights, and our good friend Mr. Jeremy decides he wants to make a territory Macho?
What if we get a full territory line of toys?
I mean, that's kind of what Luminaries is supposed to be.
Because think about it. Like, here's the thing: Jake the Snake, all these guys, right.
Mm-hmm.
Lou Fez.
Whoa.
Get the three godfathers of professional wrestling. Get Gotch. Imagine having a Gotch figure.
Oh my God.
How cool would that be?
Do what's the other one Don always mentioned when he was talking about Kenny? Hackenschmidt. Get me
Ah,
Hackenschmidt.
get Hackenschmidt in there. Get some of the fucking old dudes, the classic dudes from World of Sports.
Yeah. Let's fucking go. Dude. The ultimate get. Gorgeous George.
Mm-hmm.
If Oh my God, if we get a gorgeous George action figure, that is total pie in the sky fantasy booking pipe
Oh yeah,
dream
no.
shit. But man, I would flip a tit.
But like, I can like that'd be because here's the thing: AEW loves the territories. They love that era of wrestling just as much as they love WCW and ECW and Ring of Honor and all that kind of stuff. WWE will never touch the territory system because the territory system was directly counterintuitive to WWE's expansion.
Mhm.
But AEW honoring and respecting the territories and basically giving the fans like, here's bits of history for. Imagine doing a fucking toy photo thing with Gotch and Brian.
Oh,
That'd be so much fun.
yeah.
Hey, maybe even talk to people in Mexico. Get El Santo.
Mm. I'm surprised Super 7 hasn't done an El Santo yet. That seems like something they'd want to do.
Oh yeah, that does make sense because they're doing they did the Lucha Bros, right?
That's Boss Fight.
Oh, maybe Boss Fight could do one
Boss Fight doing him would be great. I would love that as well.
because they've also done some other luchadors.
But no, Super 7 has done the sadly much maligned New Japan figures. And they've done a couple different Andres and Jushin Thunder Ligers, which turned out well. And they're about to release Myers Cardona and Gallows and Anderson.
Maybe AEW can work that Forbidden Door magic on some Impact and New Japan. Make a new line of AEW Forbidden Door
The extended AEW universe.
and get some classic Impact guys figures. Oh,
That's how we get a classic Black Machismo in the line.
get a Moose.
Yeah.
Tanahashi, Okada, Ishii.
No,
And,
there's precedent. He's had a match.
oh yeah, both of them to have fucking Suzuki.
Ooh, Kenta.
Ooh, Kenta.
Kenta, who I gotta actually go look. I'm not sure, but I think Kenta either never got a figure in WWE or he only got a basic.
Yeah. Thank God AEW doesn't do basic figures.
Yeah.
Because that just seems
Um,
like a waste. It just seems like it's a,
I mean, you could argue their LGN throwbacks are like that.
yeah, but that's meant to be a nostalgia pop.
Mhm.
Um, so let's go on to the main event: Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega, AEW World Champion, and it starts with a beautiful short of Hangman going through the streets of Minneapolis on his horse as every single one of his failures is just projected onto the buildings around him as he is moving forward, moving on from them. Ah,
Self fucking actualization, bitches.
and then the match itself is just beautiful.
I saw some people saying it was kind of underwhelming for a Kenny Omega championship match, and it was like when we've recently had Danielson take him on, I get that, but like I think this match was really good.
It is
Um,
really good, but it's also we are dealing with the culminated broken Kenny saga.
mhm. This match wasn't about being a banger in and of itself. It was about being a good cap off to the fucking opening arc of AEW as a company.
And it was mostly it wasn't it wasn't about Kenny being big, fancy, best bout machine. It was about Kenny just winning. That's all he was focused on. He was just doing big fucking moves to do the biggest impact. So yeah, he's not going to do a lot of his fancier stuff because he's just trying to fucking put Hangman down.
Because he's as scared of Hangman as Hangman is of failing.
Yeah, and Kenny loses because because
Oh
Hangman's
god, dude, I had completely forgotten until just now. The moment when Kenny is coming out, and before getting in the ring, he just looks over and there's a fan with a sign that says, "What would Kota think?" That is the most fucking Kino moment I've ever seen in wrestling.
it was so good it can't be planted.
Hmm.
It was just like such a perfect culmination of like because here's the thing, this whole thing has been framed around Hangman and Hangman's story. It's Hangman's story. It's just as much Kenny Omega's story, but his has always been kind of more. It's still in the subtext phase
Yeah.
of like the continued insecurities, and that sign just puts a giant spotlight on it, and Kenny acknowledging it for so long, like he saw it and was like, "That's perfect for my character."
And like, let us not forget, Hanger also got a big first in this match. He was the first person to take off the turnbuckle cam to do a big move to the outside. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Mm-hmm. Hangman also got put on a one-winged angel on Kenny Omega.
Hmm. And oh my God, Kenny Omega's the first person to kick out of the one-winged angel in AEW.
True, true. It's such a that's going to be one of those wrestling fun facts that in like 20 years time, who was the first person to kick out of a one-winged angel in AEW, and everybody goes like, it's Hangman. All these other,
Sandman, right? That sounds right.
and then like in the pub night, and then the person goes like, Kenny Omega was the first person to kick out of a one-winged angel in AEW.
And they're
How?
like, what the fuck? Somebody get the match on YouTube.
Oh, he took a one-wing. Oh, right. That's cool.
Yeah. Uh, and of course the Bucks coming out.
Oh, the Bucks finally being there for Hangman for
Beautiful, beautiful moment that Brian Alvarez has been pointing out all week. Basically says, yeah, this storyline we all thought has been going for 3 years. It's been going for like 8 years, actually.
it's been going on for so. Here's the thing. This storyline has been going on since Kenny Omega first wrestled Kota Ibushi in DDT.
This storyline dates back to before you or I were into wrestling.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. This match doesn't happen if Kenny Omega doesn't become huge in Japan. Kenny Omega doesn't become huge in Japan if he doesn't join Bullet Club. Kenny Omega doesn't join Bullet Club if he becomes disillusioned with his teammate Kota Ibushi and feeling like he's not enough. He doesn't become disillusioned with Kota Ibushi if he does not have that DDT match.
Hmm?
This whole storyline goes back to that match.
I think, you know, as much as the night was about Hangman, you got to give it to Kenny. He is one of the best in-ring performers and one of the best booking minds
Mm-hmm.
of our time.
He knows how to book him, like he knows how to advocate for his booking in the best way possible,
Yeah.
and it's just fantastic. It was beautiful, great. Kenny Omega loses, and Adam Page is lifted onto the shoulders of the Dark Order as they just celebrate the night.
Oh, and when they first come out and fucking Alex Reynolds offers him a beer and he's just like, "Man, I don't need that." Slaps it out of his hand and hugs him.
God damn it! So it's so sweet. It's wholesome. It's a culmination of everything. It's just all around good. It's good shit.
Mhm. As I pointed out privately in the server of the person, you know, it's just amazing to think that in a few short years, thanks to a man whose merch I am actually wearing tonight, and AEW and a few other little factors here and there, in a few short years, I have gone from being a guy who grew up thinking wrestling was for jerks to being up at 3 in the morning, waking up my mom screaming my head off because Hangman won the title.
Yep. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful. Only words to describe it. Beautiful.
Yeah.
But you know what we gotta do? We gotta move on. We gotta talk about more things other than Full Gear. So why don't you tell me about BTE and Sammy Vlog, and after that, I'll tell you about Thunder Rosa.
Okay. Uh, BT was fairly solid this week. Got some fun stuff with the gang wandering around the Mall of America. Some good additional backstage stuff. Like we didn't talk about it, but during their match, the Bucks and Cole were wearing pink gear, and the Bucks dyed their beards pink. And you actually get to see them do that on BT, and it's hilarious because they didn't realize how strong the bleaching agent they were using was going to be. So Nick Jackson has like taped off his parts of his beard that he doesn't want to be pink, and he goes to hit. It's a can of spray bleaching agent, and he just hits himself right in the mustache and is like, "Oh God!" Uh, but then
Should have let Cutler do it. He's a master at spraying shit.
yeah. There's also a really fun, just like additional story segment of Rocky Romero goes to the best friend's hotel room and is greeted by Chuck Taylor, and he's like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man? Welcome to the party. You know, it's just your average chill chaos party. Just grab a beer, hang out." Oh, and Rocky walks over like, "Yeah, all right." And then he looks at Wheeler Yuta and he's like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" That's That's Trent, your old tag team partner. Don't you recognize him?
God,
That's
fuck.
not Trent. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, and he's like, come on, man. Didn't we used to, do the pose and stuff? And he's like, you are not my friend. I am leaving. This is weird.
God damn, that's fucking great.
Yeah.
Trent, we miss you. Come back.
Mm-hmm.
Come back soon.
Um, Fucking what else? Oh yeah, we got to see a different perspective of the Bucks coming out to help Hangman. Like we get to see the moment of them actually going like, okay, this is the right thing to do. We have to go. Uh, and then we see Hangman come backstage and get hugged by various members of the roster. Brian is actually the first person who comes up and hugs him and says, "Congratulations! I can't wait till Wednesday." Um, and we see the last shot of this episode of BTE is Kenny Omega's nameplate being removed from the AEW Championship and Hangman Adam Page being put on it.
God damn.
It's easy to forget that those titles have nameplates because they're so small, but they are there.
I prefer that though. I prefer that it's such a uniform design that it just gets transferred over.
Mhm. And then Sammy's vlog is of course much more goofy. It opens with I don't know what they were shooting. They were clearly shooting something else. But they're on the stage for Full Gear, which by the way was very nice. Like the Full Gear stage,
Oh
really
yeah.
good.
It's been the classiest Full Gear stage because it's not just, hey, we're doing steampunk.
Yeah. Um, but Sammy, Five, and Alex Abrahantes are on the stage doing a thing, and they're like, "Oh, hey, look, it's Brian Danielson. Brian, come over here. Come do this thing with us." And he's like, "What are you doing? What's going on? Is this one of those vlogs I've heard about?" And they're like, "Yeah, this is a vlog. This is my vlog," Sammy says. And he's like, "Oh, you have a vlog. Okay." And then Alex Abrahantes goes, "Oh, I have a vlog too. It's called Elite Soup. It's about all the vlogs in the company. I just talk about what happens on all of
God,
them."
so it's like the soup, but oh, that's fucking cute.
Yeah. And then he's like, "What? Why would you?" And he looks over at Five and he's like, "Do you have a vlog?" And he's like, "No, I'm just featured on Sammy's." And he's like, "Oh, thank God. Who else has a vlog?" And then Rosa and Ty come out and he's like, "Do you two have vlogs?" And Rosa is like, "Yeah, I just started one." And Ty's like, "I'm thinking about it." And Brian just goes full boomer and he's like, "God damn it. We were counting on the kids to save the planet and they all just want to record each other." And he walks away. It's hilarious.
It's also funny because isn't Thunder Rosa like older than him?
Yeah. And you can tell he doesn't actually mean it. He's just like goofing around.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
it is,
out of anybody in that locker room, I'd imagine Daniel Bryan be the first one to go like, yeah, no, you guys need to diversify your income and
mhm,
save.
yeah. We also see the vlog crew go to the charity bowling show
Yeah.
that AEW did over the weekend, which was seemed like a lot of fun. There's a great segment of another person that's not the guy who's obviously not Fuego 2 playing Fuego 2, and fucking Dustin took on Fuego for the Sammy's Vlog title. Well, and the whole time Fuego's like, I don't want it. I don't want to take it from my dad. I'm gonna still try, but like I don't want to win this match. I don't want. And he doesn't win. He's like you still love me, Dad? I still love you, son. Come here. Fucking great.
It's such a goofy, absurd joke, and I love it.
Uh-huh. Trying to see if there's anything else real important. Oh, they resolved the serial killer thing from last week. And it turns out, by the way, I found out that guy is actually with AEW. He's just a dark guy.
Okay.
Um, and it turns out he just wanted friends.
Oh, okay. So should I tell you about Thunder Rosa having tacos with Evil Uno?
Yeah, I should say I have subscribed to her. I just haven't had time to watch one of her vlogs yet.
This isn't the newest one. I think the newest one is with Ty Conte.
Mm.
So this is the taco vlog right before it. Because she has a specific show about eating tacos at local Mexican restaurants.
Oh, that's cute.
Which I think is because she also like shouts out the restaurant and goes like, "Yo, if you're in the area, fucking this is authentic Mexican tacos," because she loves the tacos. Just
I hope she, I hope AEW comes to South Carolina for a lot of reasons, but now I hope they come so she can go to my local Mexican place that I love.
but like she's eating tacos with Evil Uno, who may I remind you is a Max wrestler, but also extremely Canadian.
Yeah.
So he is in this Mexican restaurant with a basically a lucha mask, and like everybody speaking Spanish, and he's going like, "What? What did you just say?" "Oh, she just said this." "Oh, no, that sounds delicious. Yeah, can I get one of those?" They dress him up with the full hat and poncho. It's hilarious.
Fantastic.
And they start eating tacos, and it's kind of an interview show where Thunder talks and asks questions. And like, she actually asked the question, "You're not Mexican. Why are you wearing a mask?" Not in the like, "Oh my God, Becky, you're from Africa. Why are you white?" kind of way, but in a
Mhm.
legitimate like, "I just want to know why do you wear a mask?" And so it's like the story is kind of cool. When he started wrestling at 14, he wanted to hide the fact that he was 14. So he figured if he wore a mask, it'd be harder to tell, and he just got stuck with it.
Nice.
Which was cute. He was also wearing the mask while eating tacos, so everything was just getting everywhere.
Oh my God.
And Thunder was also just like straight up in mom mode because she just had a napkin in her hand and like just cleaning his mask off. Like, "You got something on your face, dear."
That is amazing.
It's cute. It was adorable. Um, Also, fucking Evil Uno straight took a shot of like